You flip open the calendar once more. Those resolutions penned at the start of the year still lie there, mastering a new skill, finishing that book manuscript, maintaining regular exercise, rising an hour earlier each day. They stand like a row of orderly headstones, marking the deaths of one ambitious endeavor after another. You ask yourself, why, when you know exactly what needs doing, do you consistently fail to act? Why do those desired changes remain mere yearning, year after year? What baffles you most is this: what do those who succeed possess that you lack? Greater willpower, a natural gift for self-discipline? Or some innate drive? You sit there, overcome by that familiar sense of helplessness. You know this feeling all too well, knowing you could achieve more, yet feeling stuck, as if something is holding you back. Let me tell you this: you are not stuck, you are simply using the wrong approach. From childhood, we've been taught that major changes demand major actions. If you wish to lose weight, you must radically overhaul your diet and embark on daily high-intensity exercise. If you aspire to write, you must pen to 1,000 words daily without fail. If you dream of starting a business, you must commit yourself wholly, working 16 hours a day. The flaw in this mindset lies in its assumption that we possess an infinite reserve of willpower, ready to be summoned at will. Yet it overlooks a fundamental truth: willpower is a finite resource. It depletes, fluctuates, and betrays you. Have you ever experienced this? You resolve to rise early. On day 1, you leap from bed the moment the alarm rings, brimming with energy. Day 2, a slight struggle, but you still get up. Day 3, you hit snooze and sleep on, waking up utterly disappointed in yourself. You blame this on laziness. But the truth is, you were relying on willpower, and that willpower had run out. We often assume successful people possess iron will, forcing themselves to tackle difficult tasks daily. Yet psychological research shows the opposite is true. Those who appear disciplined aren't battling temptation every day. They've simply built better systems that make the right actions happen naturally, with minimal willpower expenditure. At the core of this system lies the power of microhabits. To understand why microhabits work, we must first grasp what habits truly are. Habits aren't the result of conscious decisions. They're the state of no longer needing to decide. When you brush your teeth in the morning, you don't ponder, should I brush today? You simply do it. The action has become automatic, consuming no mental energy. Your brain favors habits. Why? Because habits conserve energy. Every time you must make a decision, your prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for rational thought, must activate, consuming significant energy. But when an action becomes habitual, your brain can relinquish control to the basal ganglia, the area governing automatic behaviors, which requires almost no energy expenditure. This is why change is so difficult. You're pitting your prefrontal cortex against your basal ganglia, using finite conscious decisions to combat infinite unconscious automatic responses. It's a battle you're destined to lose. The good news is you can actively shape your basal ganglia. You can transform desired behaviors into new automatic responses. The method to achieve this isn't through sheer willpower, but by employing microhabits to trick the brain into perceiving the new behavior as non-threatening, thereby making it more willing to accept it. Have you heard this saying? Improve by 1% every day, and after a year, you'll be 37 times better. This isn't motivational fluff, it's mathematics. 1.01 raised to the power of 365 equals approximately 37.78, yet most people misunderstand this formula. They interpret improve by 1% daily as requiring visible progress every single day, that each day must surpass the last. This traps them in anxiety. I didn't improve today, I've failed. True daily improvement isn't about outcomes, but about systems. It's not about writing better today than yesterday, but about writing again today. It's not about running faster today than yesterday, but about running again today. It's the act of consistent doing itself that creates compounding effect. Each time you repeat an action, you reinforce a neural pathway in your brain. 1 or 2 repetitions show no change, but after 100 or 1,000 times, that pathway becomes a motorway. The action becomes instinct. This is the philosophy of microhabits. You needn't do much, you need only do it for a long time. When you attempt to establish a new habit, your brain instinctively resists. This resistance isn't a sign of weakness, it's your brain protecting you. It perceives any new behavior as a potential threat. New actions demand energy, risk failure, and may invite danger. Consequently, it releases a subtle sense of anxiety that discourages you from starting. You call this lack of motivation. You wait for motivation to arrive, but it often never does. Microhabits work because they bypass this resistance mechanism. Suppose you wish to cultivate a daily writing habit. Your goal is to write to 1,000 words. What does your brain react with when you think write to 1,000 words? Fear. That's too difficult. It will take too much time. I might not manage it today. Resistance arises instantly. But what if your goal is write 50 words a day? Your brain reacts completely differently. 50 words, that's dead easy. I can do that anytime. No fear, no resistance, barely any motivation needed. This is the core strategy of microhabits. Shrink the goal to something so incredibly small that your brain thinks this is nothing, thereby allowing you to start. The magic lies in what happens next. Once you start, you often do more. 50 words become 50, then 50 become 100. You aren't forcing yourself to finish. You're carried forward by the momentum of having begun. We worship willpower. We treat it as some mysterious quality possessed by some and denied to others. We believe successful people succeed because they have extraordinary willpower. But scientific research on willpower reveals a completely different truth. Willpower is not a quality, but a resource. Like a muscle, it tires, and like a muscle, it can be trained. But its total amount is finite and must be used strategically. Those who appear to possess great willpower aren't constantly draining it to resist temptation. They simply rarely need to use it. By designing their environment and establishing habits, they make the right actions happen automatically, conserving their willpower for when it's truly needed. This is why relying on willpower to build habits fails. Willpower is strongest in the morning, gradually depleting with each decision and resistance throughout the day. By evening, you have almost none left. If you stake the formation of a new habit entirely on willpower, you are destined to fail when willpower is at its weakest. Microhabits consume almost no willpower. Performing an extremely small action requires no battle against powerful resistance and draws on no finite mental resources. It is so effortless that you can still accomplish it, even when your willpower is depleted. There exists a hidden adversary in your attempts at change: perfectionism. Perfectionism may sound like a virtue. You hold high standards, you strive for excellence. Yet in the realm of behavioral change, perfectionism is a paralyzing agent. You aim to exercise for an hour daily. If one day yields only 20 minutes, the perfectionist mind declares, this doesn't count. You've fallen short of your goal. You've failed. Since you've failed, you might as well not bother at all. You aim to read 50 pages a day. If you only manage 10 pages one day, perfectionism tells you, this is pointless. You're nowhere near your goal, so you simply stop reading altogether. You aspire to write to 1,000 words daily. If you only manage 300 words one day, perfectionism leaves you feeling guilty and disappointed, and these negative emotions make it harder to start the next day. The problem with perfectionism is its all-or-nothing mindset. It refuses to acknowledge gray areas, denies that progress can be slow or fast, and dismisses the notion that doing a little is far better than doing nothing at all. It uses an idealized vision of perfection to stifle real-world action. Microhabits inherently counter perfectionism. Because the goals are so small, failure is almost impossible. Writing 50 words is achievable no matter what. Doing one push-up is impossible to fail at. Read one page of a book. Anyone can manage that. When you set such minuscule goals as your baseline, exceeding them becomes a pleasant surprise rather than falling short, being a failure. Your brain begins associating change with positive feelings, not guilt and disappointment. This positive sensation motivates you to keep going. Now that you understand the principle, it's time to put it into practice. There's a straightforward method for designing microhabits that you can begin using immediately. Step 1. Choose the habit you wish to cultivate. Not all habits carry equal importance. Select the one that holds the most influence over your current life. It might be exercise, reading, writing, or meditation. Choose just one. Don't be greedy. Step 2. Reduce this habit to an absurdly small scale. This is the most crucial step. You might think one push-up a day sounds ridiculous, or writing 50 words daily seems trivial. But it is precisely this triviality that bypasses your brain's resistance, allowing you to complete it regardless of your state. Ask yourself, what can I absolutely do every single day, even when ill, exhausted, or utterly swamped? That volume is your microhabit. Step 3. Schedule a specific time and trigger for this microhabit. Is it after waking, after lunch, before brushing your teeth at night? Attaching the new habit to an existing one massively boosts success rates. Step 4. Track your progress, keep a calendar, and tick it off daily upon completion. This simple act delivers a sense of micro-achievement, allowing you to witness your persistence and reinforce your identity. I am someone who sees things through. Step 5. Allow yourself to exceed the minimum, but don't expect to. If you feel like doing a few extra push-ups after one, go ahead. But if you don't, stopping is perfectly acceptable. The key is to maintain the baseline, not chase the ceiling. No matter how small your microhabit, there will be days when even that feels insurmountable. You may feel exhausted, overwhelmed, or question the purpose of it all. It is precisely during these moments that microhabits prove their true worth. On such days, you need neither motivation nor inspiration. You need only ask yourself one question: can I manage that tiniest action? Even if the whole world is against you, you can always manage one push-up. Even when utterly exhausted, you can read one page. Even amidst chaos, you can write 50 words. When you complete that tiny action, you've won. Not because of how much progress you made today, but because you didn't break the chain. You honored your commitment to yourself. You proved to your brain, no matter what happens, I will show up. This quality of showing up no matter what matters far more than any single grand leap forward. It transforms you from someone who occasionally bursts into action into someone who keeps moving forward consistently. The difference between these two types of people is the difference between dreamers and achievers. After consistently practicing microhabits for a period, a deeper shift occurs. You begin to alter your perception of yourself. Initially, you're merely trying to do one push-up daily. After weeks, you might think, I'm the sort who sticks with exercise. Months later, this belief internalizes, I am someone with an exercise habit. This is identity transformation. You're not doing the habit, you're becoming that sort of person. The habit merely serves as evidence of your transformation. This identity shift is profoundly significant because it alters your decision-making process. When you see yourself as someone who isn't good at exercise, you have to persuade yourself to work out every single time. But when you see yourself as someone who has a habit of exercising, not working out becomes the thing that requires justification. You've shifted from needing effort to do it to needing effort not to do it. The power of microhabits ultimately lies not in what you do each day, but in what you prove to yourself each day. You're proving you can persevere, you can trust yourself, and you can become the person you aspire to be. Microhabits focus on internal systems, yet external environments are equally crucial. In truth, the influence of surroundings on behavior is far greater than you realize. You may wish to eat healthily, but if your kitchen is cluttered with snacks, you must resist temptation every time you enter. You may aim to focus on work, but if your phone lies within reach, each vibration will distract you. You wish to read more, yet if books languish in a distant corner of the bookshelf while the remote rests on the armrest, you'll likely reach for the remote. This isn't a matter of willpower, it's one of design. Your environment constantly invites certain behaviors while discouraging others. If you don't proactively design your environment, it will passively design you. Re-examine the spaces around you. For the habits you wish to cultivate, are the tools readily accessible? Are the temptations of habits you wish to shed removed from sight? If you want exercise to be easier, place your workout gear by your bedside before sleep. If you want reading to be easier, keep books beside your usual seating spot. If you want focus to be easier, put your phone in another room while working. Each time you optimize your environment, you reduce future willpower expenditure for yourself. These small optimizations accumulate, making the right actions almost inevitable. In an age obsessed with instant gratification, patience has become a forgotten virtue. We crave 7-day crash courses, 30-day transformations, overnight metamorphoses. Yet genuine change unfolds differently. True transformation is slow, gradual, often invisible. Do one push-up daily, and nothing happens the first week. You won't see change the first month either. But by the third month, you'll find yourself effortlessly doing 20 without realizing it. After 6 months, your physical condition will have noticeably improved. By the year's end, you'll have become a different person entirely, not because you did anything earth-shattering, but because you did a little something every single day. Microhabits demand this kind of patience. You must trust the process, trust the compounding effect, trust that change is unfolding during those unseen days. You needn't witness progress daily, you merely need to show up daily. Now, let us revisit the perplexing question from the outset. Why do you know what you ought to do, yet consistently fail to act? It is not due to laziness, it is not due to a lack of willpower. It is not because you are unworthy of a better life. It's simply because you're using the wrong approach. You're relying on motivation, which fades. You're relying on willpower, which depletes. You're chasing perfection, which never arrives. The right approach is to bypass your brain's resistance with microhabits, build sustainable systems through minuscule actions, and create compounding effects with daily 1% improvements. You don't need to do more, you just need to do it longer. Change isn't a sprint, it's a jog. Not a single burst of energy, but a succession of tiny, almost imperceptible steps. Individually insignificant, these steps accumulate to carry you anywhere. If you've read this far, you possess all the knowledge required. The only question now is, will you apply it? You may still be waiting for some perfect moment, some morning brimming with motivation, someday when everything is ready. But these will never arrive. Only today can come, only this moment. Only this imperfect yet real instant you hold in your hands. Don't try to change your entire life. Choose one thing, one small thing, shrink it down to absurd proportions. Then do it today, do it again tomorrow, that's it. That's the whole secret. Life isn't transformed by the grand gestures you occasionally make, but by the small things you do every single day. The power of microhabits lies not in their magnitude, but in their persistence. Right now, the person you aspire to become is waiting for you somewhere in the future. The path they've walked isn't some earth-shattering highway, but a series of tiny, consistent steps. You can take the very first one today.